Welcome to another episode of the Overwatch Weekly with BobbyJ at episode 18. Got another 3 guests, of course, from Masterminds. We've got CantuS. What's going on, man?
Hey, not much. Just chilling, doing the podcast again.
Yeah,
thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we botched the first take, so yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Okay, we got from Scylla. We've got the coach Switch, also from Watchpoint Oceania. What's going on, man?
Yeah, not much. Nice to see you again, Bobby.
Yeah. Oh wait, you've been on before, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been on before.
Ago, yeah, and then
man, forgotten so easily. Oh, you're so cold.
Dude, it's been months and months. I know you did it with Redact, yeah.
Yeah, Redact and Jordan.
Yeah. So I forgot Jordan. Rip Jordan. All right. Well, he was on twice. He didn't get one of the episodes he was on was the removal of that Even podcast. You remember that?
Yes, podcast.
Yeah. All right, and of course we've got Face from Over.gg, and of course Four Legs. What's going on, man?
Hey guys, how you going?
So we're here with take number 2, and maybe I'll just keep that recording of take number 1 and add it on somewhere. Maybe. Oh no, wait, the audio wasn't there. That's why we had to do another take, so it's completely scrapped.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about results from CyberGamer. That was this past week. So we've got some guaranteed teams that are going to make the finals, being Masterminds, Athletico, and Will Weed. So you first, Switch. What were your thoughts on the past week of CyberGamer and the results?
I think most of them were pretty unsurprising. I think one of the matches didn't impact the standings. I think probably the most interesting matches were us against Will Weed and Masterminds against Plot One. In terms of like impact of the standings. Oh wait, Face, did you guys play Athletico last week? Was that?
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
that was last week. Yeah. So okay, so there was a heap of matches that did impact the standings then. So yeah, there was a bit of an upset, or I don't know if you even would call it an upset. So Four Leagues did take down Athletico 2-0, which I don't think many people would have expected, but the top 6 teams or top 5 teams in the scene at the moment are really close and able to trade games with one another pretty consistently. So it was getting a bit hectic. We had some very close games between Plot One and Masterminds.
Oh, sick.
That Ilios third point, wow.
Easiest game of CKM's life.
Easiest game of his life? Yeah, that was the quote, right?
Yeah.
If anyone hasn't seen that yet, and you're a part of the scene, you should definitely go watch that. Even if you're just watching this and you don't really watch too much Overwatch, I recommend watching that game. That was so much fun. Even just the cast, like I was. There's one of the points on Ilios CantuS. You just had a continued fight the whole time. It did not stop.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
No, it's Lighthouse.
No, the Lighthouse. There was the one fight on rollout, and then the second fight just went for the entire map.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
We both thought we can win it. We kept flooding in.
What was going on in that game, like comms-wise, CantuS?
Comms were pretty chill. We didn't have a warm-up scrim to start, so we got completely crapped on in the first 2 rounds. I remember there was one time I said to kill Lucio on point like at least 20 times. And he just didn't die. So we're obviously warming up. And then that third round on the well, where it was 99% for both teams, and we both captured it and recaptured it 3 or 4 times. Eventually won it. There was a point there I thought we'd lost and I'd given up. And
yeah.
Sunwaves and CKM just come in and both have ults and both get a pick with them. Managed to turn it around. Then we claw our way back. That was such a good feeling. Closest game I've ever played, I think.
And then after that, you had Hollywood, and they ended up holding you into the second point. Like, what happens for most? Because most teams, like when that happens to them, they tend to break under the pressure. Like, what do you do at that level? So you're playing in the Tier 1 Overwatch and ANZ. What do you tell your team when you've only pushed it just close to the second checkpoint on a payload map?
Yeah, it was definitely rough. Like, my natural instinct when we get crushed like that is to go over our mistakes, what we did wrong. That's not the right way to do it in a tournament. You can do that in scrims to improve on the next map. But I just went silent because I'm not a very good motivator, so I didn't want to bring the team down. So let everyone collect themselves and their thoughts so we could bring it fresh into the next Full Sky map.
Which was the map that that you pretty much dominated towards the end. Like, whose ban was it, or whose idea was it to let Volskaya through? Was that your guys in the veto, or was that them?
It's sort of hard to say. We both lifted up, so we're both pretty confident in it.
What was the feeling going into it? Sorry, Switch.
We felt like pretty confident on Volskaya, but as you saw on the second map, which is Hollywood, Nectar's Genji was not on, so we made the call to just go Pharah, and got crushed on the first point defense because Pharah sucks there, of course. But then second point, we managed to hold them really well with the Pharah and our two tanks sitting on that platform. We just never let them up.
You got res, I think it was 3 fights in a row, and then the fourth fight you were at 70%, and it ended up not mattering. Sombra comps, a lot of teams have so much trouble dealing with on a point to Volskaya, and when you've also got the res, so many things you have to be able to play around and compensate for, and it's got a lot of effort to get back in when someone gets established with those two happening on the second point.
Yeah, absolutely. You could tell they were having a hard time dealing with the Pharah, with the Huss switch to Widowmaker, I believe. Yeah. So you looked for the pick for quite a while, and you just didn't manage to get it. And then I think apparently Smash Brother made the call for them to go hog, and that didn't work either. So we knew by then we'd pretty much had them in the bag.
It was a pretty intense situation for them because you guys kind of mirrored each other with the first checkpoint. It was pretty fast, and then after we were mentioning on the stream like the picks were coming out, and the time, as soon as that time ticks away, it's just so much pressure because you guys had a pretty good time. Yeah, it was like 4 minutes something.
It was 4 something, 4:30.
Yeah, that's just like
4:45.
That's just fucked. Like to go up against on a two CP. I couldn't imagine the mindset of everyone on the team.
Yeah, it's never a good feeling when you get second point cap. You don't even get a stall.
The time's kind of irrelevant though, in some ways. Like, it's what you have to defend against, and it's like you have a total one more opportunity to like do it again, and you can like reset. Like, just tell your whole team that you're gonna start from scratch and attack or defend. And it's not definitely. Like even like a 6-minute time is not undefensible. Like on the second point, like it's like I would say on some 2CP it's like kind of common almost to hold that time.
Yeah, you can more or less ignore the time and just think, right, we need to cap both these points. Doesn't matter.
And when you're attacking, even if you've got 1 minute, like sometimes it just like you get a bit of 2CP luck and you cap the first point, and for some reason you've got like 4 ults coming like straight away in the next 30 seconds, and they all come up, and you can just like steamroll the next point, and you just get lucky.
A lot of that's due to how the spawn system works. It's not actually balanced because with the way the objective timer works, if you're outnumbered on the objective and contesting, it increases the spawn timer cap. And that applies on first point, not just second point, which is the issue. Like in our game against Will Weed, we were almost very close to full holding them on the very first defense with our Sombra strat. And we got it into overtime, and it was a reasonably lengthy overtime contest, and they got all 6 people respawned and then took it in overtime. And we still had the 15-second max spawn timers, and we didn't even get onto point B before they were in point B and captured point B. So we held them for 4 minutes on point 1 and held them for 18 seconds on point 2. Like, I really don't like Blizzard's game design there, because you're punished for defending better. So like when we took the point on our offense in 2 minutes, they had 10 second spawn timers and got back to hold point B and had a reasonable defensive setup before we got into point B. So there's like so many inequalities with how the 2CP spawn system works that kind of like idiosyncratic and like really reward snowballing in a way. And like you really have to you can play around them, but you really have to be very aware of them, and it's very punishing if you fuck it up.
I want to get back to you, Switch, on talking about Scylla, but I want to hash over quickly with Four Legs, where someone took down Atletico this season in the CG League. So what was the mindset going into that one face? And when you won the first map against them, was everyone like hyped as fuck, like going into
Yeah.
Temple of Anubis?
We love playing matches. Matches like I think we perform better, and so any map win in a match is pretty hype.
Yeah.
But we expected it. Well, not expected it, but we knew that we were a really good chance to win, and we also knew that like we had to win. So like if we wanted to like any chance of like staying in CJ, we had to win both maps and not drop one.
So who do you need plot 1 to lose to make CyberGamer finals? Yeah.
Yeah, I need old mate Switch to coach the lights out of them.
So that leads into this talking about Scylla. You guys can't make the finals there. You didn't make the finals in ESL, but you're still regarded as one of the top teams in the region. So how do you go about doing this? What's the rebuilding phase for Scylla? Is that where you're at now?
Obviously, we're underperforming like a lot. We're just kind of taking a break this week. Everyone's just coming in back with a clean headspace. FaZe probably isn't too happy to hear that. We're not scrimming at all. We're scrimming Sunday and Monday, and we'll try our best. Like we're not gonna give them a free win. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. So we're just kind of taking stock of what's happening. No one's really like sure. We'll have a chat about it on Saturday, and I guess we'll let you know.
Yeah. Well, you'll definitely still have a lineup, for next season.
Yeah, I'd say so.
You've got there's an org. Everyone wants an org backing them, and the guys from Scylla are awesome. And like I've spoken to them for quite some time, and some of them work under AGTV as well. So I know some of the boys there. So it's one of the. We're pretty lucky to have like all the orgs right now involved in our Overwatch scene are pretty good. There's no one that's really bad. Anyone that was kind of dodgy in the past have already been flushed away. So there's still opportunities out there for some orgs. Like with Adelaide Crows picking up Legacy. So that's a big pickup for anyone that's still searching for an org. Because,
Legacy aren't interested in Overwatch?
Well, they might be because we got this... it's not in Australia yet, but what was that? The... Contenders, that's it. I was almost going to call it Challenges.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about that? They're calling it Season 0. Has anyone got any thoughts on that? Like 50k for North America, 50k for Europe?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Get us to North America. We'll give it a crack.
So, are you allowed to sign up as an Aussie and VPN over? Do you know?
No.
Is that against the rules?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Got to be a resident.
You don't have to be a resident. You don't have to be a resident, but you have to be... Oh, like you don't have to be a citizen, but you have to be a resident. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be on a visa or something. Which
No,
is...
you can just live like tourist visa there, I think, and play from there.
Oh.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Do you think that's something they're going to bring eventually to our region?
I'd
I
hope
think
so.
OPC is considered what that is. Like that's the equivalent.
But OPC was invite only. It didn't have any open qualifiers. I wouldn't say it's the same at all. I think maybe OPC and Contenders might, like the Overwatch League and the Contenders format obviously kind of feeds into Overwatch League in some way. It's not really clear at the moment what that is. Maybe we see kind of, the plan like unravel and maybe like OPC comes closer to what Overwatch League will end up looking like, and we might get some sort of Contenders-like thing if OPC returns for a second season. Has that been confirmed yet or announced? I don't know.
Assume it probably would.
Yeah, you'd think so. They built a studio in Taiwan, and
My understanding is that the orgs it's been confirmed to the orgs in it already.
Okay.
It's going to be continuing.
I hope they set up like a multi-language cast over there at the studio. Have people living over there, like all the production crew, like English and Mandarin. That'd be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Roll over. Let's go.
Looking for a job, Bobby.
It'd be good if they. It'd be good if they did it for like Japanese and Thai and what other nations are competing there. Whatever countries have teams being fielded, I would hope being given a broadcast of their own too. Like that'd be ideal. Is there a Thai broadcast or anything like that? Do you know?
Yeah, there's Dreamcaster.
Okay.
It'd be pretty cool. Like, we'd be able to get. I imagine like some of us would go over there. It'd probably be Avril and I don't know who else. Some of us maybe. We'll see what happens. Because the ESL guys are probably already. Oh no, ESL like I've worked with Blizzard before, so when because Uber casted the World Cup and same with D-Man and they were under ESL. So I guess we'll see what happens.
ESL have a policy of like allowing their casters to freelance for some stuff, I think. So.
Yeah. Well, it only improves their brand as a caster, so and if they're still under ESL, then they just benefit. All right, well, let's talk about, speaking of ESL, we've got ESL finals this weekend. So I'm pretty much all you boys are going to end up being there. You going up a switch? You staying down here?
Oh, look, I don't know. I might just have like a last minute impulse buy, like a plane ticket and head up and stay with my cousin. But like at the moment, unless I do that like tomorrow, I probably won't go. But like I'm actually considering it. I've been looking at flights. So anyway, like maybe.
And CantuS, you, as we were just mentioning, you don't have your passport yet.
We applied for it 3 weeks ago, and they said it was going to take 2 weeks, and it's still not here. So
what if it turns up
screwed
tomorrow?
Over by the man. Someone hates me.
What if it turns up tomorrow?
If it does, then I probably can go.
Yeah.
I hope it will turn up tomorrow. I've rang them 3 times so far, and they just don't give any information.
Holy shit.
Praying to God that they will turn up tomorrow, though. If not, we're getting Project to sub in for me as the main caller. He'll do a good job, I'm sure.
He is a very talented player. The 6'8" gaming powerhouse, as everyone likes to say.
Big brain player. It's,
yeah.
His ego's bigger than CantuS's entire country.
God damn it. Anyway, okay, so Four Legs are also going to be there. So let's start getting predictions for this weekend. For you first, Face, how do you see things playing out?
Well, Four Legs gonna win it, obviously. And then I don't know. Apart from my own overconfidence, I'm not like it's so even. I think it almost come down to like how teams draft maps.
Yeah.
And how they approach certain teams. I would say second probably be Atletico, and then Masterminds and so on. I don't know. I can only back myself in, and everything else just seems like random.
Yeah,
it's so even.
Without CantuS, I'm not gonna say Masterminds. Like, I think,
true.
I
That's
think you're gonna struggle. Taki's gonna be adjusting to a new role. Project's gonna be playing Lucio, which is a new role.
Especially considering I think they rely heavily on running Pharah Mercy. And CantuS is a really good Mercy. And I think Taki's probably got about 5 minutes on Mercy.
Yeah.
Alright, he'll just blaze up and he'll be in the zone. It's all good.
Yeah, they played it against us in a scrim, I think. Yeah.
What about
Taki's got some work to do on that character. I bet he's putting in the hours right now. He could well be better by the time the lane comes around.
What about Atletico bouncing back from their loss? Do you think that's going to be in the back of their minds? They lost to Four Legs.
I don't know. Maybe like a tiny bit. Like, I mean, you always want to like beat someone who's beaten you recently, and you're going to be kicking yourself over your mistakes a tiny bit. But like, I think people will be pretty excited about LAN and pretty focused on that, not really worried about what's happened in the past so much.
How do you think? So?
I think it's going to be close.
How do you think their players will adapt? Because they got some young players.
There is that LAN difference. How the young players will turn up at LAN, if they will or if they won't. It's very hard to call.
I think you'd be right. Many of them would be nervous, and you could have some issues around that. Plot one, I've got a team.
We're putting the seeds in their mind now. Now they weren't thinking about it before. Now they're listening to this, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we're gonna be on stage," and just they're gonna be thinking about it. Well, all right. Well, let's get back to the topic that originally got cut out when we were doing the first take. So we'll talk about CantuS and we'll talk about the matchmaking issues, and then you can kick things off again, Switch. Hopefully things feel refreshed again now that we've gone through some other topics.
All right, so if anyone who isn't aware, we have a celebrity in our room. He's actually Overwatch's greatest villain. It is CantuS, abuser of matchmaking, crusher of diamonds and platinums, cure at off-peak times, and general awful human being, according to Reddit. And also even some pretty popular streamers. So I guess we wanted to bring up the whole issue of oceanic matchmaking. Why people even do six stack, because as many Reddit users point out, why they're doing it, they're just getting uncompetitive games, it must suck, da. And ask CantuS, does he deserve his rating? Is he really the number one player in A, or was for a bit? And all that.
Well, let's talk about where it started then, CantuS.
Yeah, well, originally I did it so that I would get the top 500 season rewards, since in season 4 you have to finish in top 500, not just get it once during the season. So I was around 4.4k, and I was worried that it would rise. So I 6-stack, and we get 2 SR per game, since our region sucks and there's 0 players in it. So we did that a few nights, and we did a few more nights, and eventually it got kind of out of hand, and I was pretty high. So I'm like, might as well go for rank 1. So I hit rank 1, and it's very obvious I don't deserve 4.7k because I 6-stack. Like, everyone can tell that. We're versing platinums and diamonds at 7 and 8 p.m. Just how our region is. So...
And then, how did this calling out start? Like, who started making the public or the community aware of this?
The first I heard of it was there was a Korean vid. Someone linked me that someone posted on Inven, posting that I had 93% win rate, whatever it was, on Zenyatta. My statistics are obviously very skewed. I have low damage and low deaths because the games are very short, of course. And then I made the Reddit post on the Overwatch subreddit, which got a lot of downvotes. I was either thinking it'd be very upvoted or very downvoted. It's an obvious troll post. Like,
so who would him,
and
he's like,
how people can take that seriously.
Yeah, I know.
Come on.
Who would PM me? And he's like, I'm getting CantuS to make a Reddit post. Like, and I was like, I'm going to bed, dude. It's like 1 a.m. It's like really late. I'm going to crash. He's like, CantuS is making a Reddit post about how he got number 1 rank in A, and I'm like, well, I'm getting out of bed. This is going to be entertaining. Yeah, like that was obviously never going to go down well. And obviously when it's linked in ANZ General in the first minute of it being created, like it's going to go down even less well. So you had like a bunch of people who were pretending to be like people who didn't know who CantuS was, like writing like all these things about him. It was actually just like Mason and Frogger and it was interesting. That was an interesting post. But I think what perhaps more surprising is like the professional reaction to it. Like Seagull, said on stream, and I can't get rank 1 because there's this guy called CantuS who just 6 stacks in in Australia. And like there was Silk Thread called you out, and Spree said some lots of not nice things about you. So like you're definitely getting a lot of hate for it, and people are very angry about it. So Blizzard have actually sensed this, and one of the side benefits that I think kind of came about along that 6-stacking journey for the guys who are doing it was they were like, we're kind of giving some visibility to how shit the system is, and like the publicity that we're getting is there was like many YouTube videos, like I remember the earliest one I saw was like Force did one back like 3 months ago when Igo was the 6-stack leaguer, and CantuS didn't even play.
Never gave up.
Yeah. So Igo couldn't take the heat. He backed out. CantuS has just become the lightning rod for all the hatred. So, I mean, like, I guess you got to understand the motivations, because a lot of people, like, these people are just awful people. And like, to be fair, like, I don't really approve of it, if I'm being honest. but I can understand why the guys are doing it, and they definitely don't deserve the hate they are getting. So like, people, if there are any Americans watching this, especially like if anyone's like who aren't high SR, like you don't like the queues and the queue system works very differently up here, especially in OCE. If you queue at like 4K plus at the same time as someone else is queuing at 4K plus, you are going to get put into a game with them. Like, it is an eventuality. It is like it's going to happen. It's not like maybe, you know, or like it's super unlikely. Like if you two people queue at platinum at the same time, there's like absolutely no way you're going to get put in a game. Like one in like 50, right? You queue at GM, it's pretty likely, like 70-80%. I don't know. And there are people who abuse that. There are people who have win traded their way up to like not quite CantuS levels of SR. You know, they've queued with a Smurf. A friend is playing on a Smurf, and if they get put on the same team, they both try hard and try and win. And they have to be decent players, of course. If they get put on the opposite team, the person on the Smurf throws. Intentional speeds, you know, throws the game, ruins it for everyone else in the game. Makes the game completely pointless. And there are people who, you know, have done that and are, you know, 4,600 on the leaderboards, you know, that no one on Reddit knows about. And those people really deserve the vitriol on the lightning rod. And then there's just like the general quality of games. Like, even, like you saw CantuS six-stacking at peak times, like 8 p.m. Like, that's a pretty usual time for people to play the game on a weeknight. Getting those like ridiculously imbalanced games, like the game could give him a 5-minute queue and just fetch 5 or 6 grandmasters that are solo queued or duo queued and whack him against him. Like Blizzard could do that. Like that would be better. It might not be ideal, but it would be better. But they don't do that. Like they give him like they search so aggressively for a 6-stack they'll go grab like some 2700s. Like it's absurd. The matchmaker is completely broken, and people like 6-stacking. It'd be awesome if there was a dedicated 6-stack queue with separate SR. People would do it. Like it would be fun. Like I would do that. Like hell yeah.
Do you think that's one of the solutions? What are the solutions that, if you guys got any, let's talk about them.
Solo queue only.
I wouldn't go as far as face, but go for it.
A separate solo queue.
Yeah.
Would solve so many problems in smaller regions, because lots of imbalances happen when you have a smaller player pool. As soon as you start like having group numbers, it changes the integrity of the people that are in the queue. So you have like 2 people that are queuing at 4.6, and then it just means that the game struggles to find another match for them on the opposing team. And like the bigger the group is, the harder it is for a matchmaking system to match against that. And if there's all solo queues, they can put those 2 4.6 players on each team, and then they can just work their way down.
The game is meant to be played in a team, so have 6-stack queues, team queues, whatever you like, and a solo queue. Have those 2 separate. That'll be the ideal solution.
The problem is we're talking for like they got to understand that 99% of the player base is not Grandmaster, and like a far greater percentage than that doesn't live in OCE and is Grandmaster. So like,
what if it's solo queue only? Like the peak, like there might be a large gap between. In the 6 people on a team, there might be a large gap between the top, like the highest SI on that team and the lowest. But on the opposing team, that gap should probably be the same if it's solo queue only, as opposed to what it is now, where you get like, you know, 2 4.6 and then 4 diamonds and then like a stack of like 4K.
Yeah. There are better ways you could do it. I think. Straight up at high SRs, even in any region, I think 4 stacks and 5 stacks just don't make sense. 5 stacks don't make sense inherently. Like that's just unfair on the one person. Straight up, like it's never going to be good. Like the number of times CantuS' stack has whacked a 4 stack of diamonds or a 5 stack of diamonds with 2 GMs. Like I've been to 2 GMs with playing with 4 diamonds against CantuS' stack, and it's not fun. And I do get those 20 SR for it, and it's complete bullshit because I'm playing a team of like 4,400 averages, and like. And not only am I like being put into a queue that like I have no chance of winning, I lose a lot of stuff for losing the game, and it's also an awful experience because the people on my team already have the mentality of this game's over and I'm not going to try. Like, it's just like,
Yeah, well,
what is
after can't find a 6-stack, it'll look for a 5-stack plus one person.
Yeah.
So the 5-stack will be diamonds.
And that one person
will be a
really high
GM or a top 500.
exactly.
And they will lose SR for it. They're just completely absurd. Like,
it's been a rank 13 player before. That's how high it can go.
Yeah, so like that one person gets screwed. So 5-stack's just bad for everyone, no matter what. I don't think they should be allowed at any SR, really. Like, 4-stack's a bit of a grey area, but like you've got so much of the team being comprised of one group of friends who are stacked together, and like it can impact comms, and like, you know, you could have some very awkward situations socially about roles. Like, I would like to see the game be 6-stack, separate queue, solo, duo, trio, and I think that works for what Blizzard want the game to be. In competitive, like they still want you to be able to play with friends, like, because that keeps people playing, keeps people spending money on loot boxes.
With that many different queues, how would that affect smaller regions?
Solo, duo, trio combined.
Oh, right.
So just disable 4 and 5, disable 6, and move it to a separate queue with a separate SR.
What kind of like how League of Legends disable 4?
How League of Legends disable? Is it still disabled?
Yeah, you can queue with your friends. They have 3 separate queues. They have just solo queue, which you can duo, and then they have like a group one, like where you can queue up to 1, 2, 3, or 5, and then you just have pure 5 as well. Pretty sure it's how it goes.
Right.
And that works for them, I think. But there's not as many complaints as what it used to be.
That makes sense. That makes sense to me. I don't think 5 should ever be allowed at any SR. I think that's dumb. It, you know, being the one is an awful feeling. Unless you get the nicest people in the world, which, like, this is a gaming community. People are, you know, not the nicest people in the world, unfortunately.
Especially in Australia and New Zealand, we're known for our banter.
I think the day after I put that person on Reddit, I logged on to Discord and I had, what was it, 20-something mentions in the Overwatch Discord with a petition to get my purple removed. I thought that was a good laugh.
They
there's
just joking about it, yeah?
Like, no.
Change.org petition.
There's a change.org petition.
Who the fuck started that?
I don't know.
Some dude.
We get passionate about it.
Come on,
like,
fuckers.
There's an amazing amount of vitriol. I mean...
Yeah, but everyone knows CantuS in that Discord. Like, what?
No, not the ANZ.
Oh,
no, the
Overwatch. The OW Discord. Oh my god. Wow, yeah, that's fucking intense, dude. Well, at least you're getting famous, man. So.
Exactly. It's part of the plan.
Dude, Kim Kardashian started from having a sex tape, and look where she's at. So, dude, sky's the limit for you, mate.
Totally.
Fucking embrace it, dude. Go get up on when you're at the World Cup. Just look straight at Seagull, like fucking dead in the eyes. I'm gonna just show him. I'll show you why I'm #1, bitch, and just fucking destroy him, and then just go on Reddit and just fucking smack talk the shit out of him. I guess
that's a reason. That's a reasonable segue, I suppose. World Cup, you know.
Yeah. Well, the committee was like, hey, Katie, Uber, and I'm forgetting the last one.
Serenity,
of course. An old power Serenity. So how do you guys feel about how the committee went? Do you guys agree with how they went about getting people to be on the committee?
The nomination process could have been a bit more public. No one knew about it. I think the majority of people knew that you could like self-nominate, like certain people that start with B.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Like, I didn't even know how it even worked. I didn't know that the fucking thing started. I was originally told by Crunch from Full Circle, and he goes, on the down low, there's going to be a World Cup committee, and I'll get you on it. I was like, okay, cool, sounds good. And then I didn't pay attention because he just told me, like, yeah, that's going to happen. But then, of course, New Zealand's get their own, and he's probably busy whatever New Zealand stuff he's doing. And then I get messages in my Discord saying, like, hey, why aren't you up for the Overwatch committee? I'm like, what committee are you talking about? And then, yeah, Which like it still had Doctor and Genome, so I was like, okay, two of the boys are there. That's fine.
I think they had to self-apply. They had to email, like, so the guy's email address was like linked in the scene because there was a couple of people who. So I think what actually happened, and nobody really knows, and I've talked to a couple of people involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
They basically went to. They must have done no research. Like, they couldn't have talked to anybody involved with the scene. They just picked a bunch of high SR players, like Lush and Rep and a couple other people, like next to none. Like, they managed to not get people on teams, kind of.
They got a couple of people that were nominated last year, like Technique from New Zealand. Us for Australia.
Yeah, and I think a bunch of people might have turned them down, and then a bunch of people applied. Like, Doctor emailed in his submission. Like, he's like, I want to apply for this. Like, even though it's not something you apply for, there was never made public that you could. I'm, like, pretty sure that's how he got in. Like just someone told him the guy's email, and he sent him an email and like, I want to apply. I don't know how Genome get in. Maybe that was it. Maybe he got in another way. Yeah, it was really poorly handled for OCE at least. But that being said, you got a decently good crop of people.
Yeah, like Uber's clearly a professional, like and well known. He's not going to do a bad job. He doesn't really know the scene that much, but you know, we've got Serenity in there. That's the main thing. Like I was like, okay, there's Doctor, Serenity, and Genome. One of those guys get in, then it's all good, because they know our scene, like, you know, like the back of their hand. So it's fine. And Serenity's there with Doctor anyway, so those two are, you know, work together. And then Hey Katie's a bit of a he's busy doing his own thing, but you know, he's been in our scene for quite some time, so I can understand that.
He's been a player, which I'm very glad. There's someone who's been in the server with all the people that can be nominated, and he's seen how good they are, what impact they can have.
And Uber's clearly going to listen to them. He don't get to that position in esports by not listening to people. So
I think it's important that the community has like someone like Uber or Custer that like they might not have the scene knowledge, but like they can bring more like to the community, like knowledge internationally and like more publicity, better like media, like produce better media through the community about the team.
And also being completely impartial because they just completely aren't involved in the scene. Like being completely unbiased is huge because like this scene is so small, and I'm not going to use the word incestuous, but I don't know what to call it.
Incestuous is the right word.
Yeah, okay, maybe it is.
We're all fucking inbred here. And
so it's pretty good having someone completely unbiased. Like a lot of people in general chat were just going ham on Custer, and I was just like, well, the guy's clearly actually a very good player. Like,
like everyone kept giving him shit for like what he said, his description, like arguably the most successful Australian player. He's clearly the most successful Australian.
It's like, not even debatable. He definitely is. Like, straight up. Like, I don't care like what you want to say like about Blank and their recent successes there, and they have been very good, and it's great. But Fnatic is like one of the most successful esports orgs to ever have existed. He's gone and played in Apex in Korea. That is the highest level of competition in the world. Sure, they didn't do great, but God, like, he's getting paid a full-time gaming salary and has been for the entire duration since Overwatch launch. Like, he's definitely the most successful, just objectively. Like, I don't know.
Speaking on that, okay, so we pretty much know who's going to be in the New Zealand squad. Well, we'll start with New Zealand because they'll probably take it a bit quicker. Oh, well, come on! Like, there's like a handful of you stand up. There's a handful of like you guys that are top quality, compared to the
so
ANZ.
far it's me and Huru that are definitely confirmed. So Huru's flex.
We will probably make it in there,
It's DPS is the one that's up for contention. There's actually quite a lot of good DPS players, which surprised me.
Do you think Taken would get in?
We got Birdie for the Lucio role. We sorted that out first. So it's me and Birdie for the supports who on flex. And there's a lot of good DPS. Just getting up the list now. There's Signed, Culhex, Will One, Nesty, Woover. I think that's it. They're all very good players.
Culhex.
Which is
I
It's
think
also
CantuS has
exciting.
just
Right.
told some people who didn't know they were eliminated yet that they've been eliminated with that list. But
Have I?
I'll tell Avril before this goes live, and he can let them know.
Let me open up
what about
ANZOW.
Yeah, tanks is the hard one. We had to go advertise for that a bit. Got a few good people for that. I'll refrain from naming names this time.
Might have been good for Peels to
There's
stick
Peels.
around in the scene.
I think we did ask him, but he declined.
Yeah, they got in contact with him.
Yeah, but he hasn't been playing though, has he?
Yeah, he's been away for quite a long time.
Yeah, so the
He's
game
still like
moves on
like-
pretty quick.
you can get back to your old level reasonably quick, and Peels at his old level would be a pretty clear choice, I would say. Had he chosen to go for it.
Who else is there? What other NZ tanks are there?
0. It's a lot of like off-tank players playing tank, or like people that just want to get in the team playing tank.
There was what's his name
Elias
from
and-
Scylla?
Or Spoons.
Spoons doesn't
Spoons,
want to
yeah.
play.
Yeah, he declined.
Man, I guess like
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
look
they're-
pretty good.
NZ
We
tank.
had some
they're trialing some guys. Yeah, go on, guys. Yeah.
we had some scrims, and they actually went really, really well. Probably mostly down to us having a great DPS duo, plus who were like that three-man team is going to tear through a lot of other teams. So really nice.
Who else is in your group?
Our World Cup group, I think it's USA, Taiwan, and Brazil.
All right.
So that's a pretty tough group. All three of those countries have a pretty well-developed esports scene.
Do you reckon that's the group of death?
I haven't looked at the other groups too much, but it's definitely not an easy group. We're definitely the clear underdog there.
And you're also competing against the other, like the other group in your
Yeah, the other group
qualifier.
and that plays in the USA.
Yeah,
So whichever
Germany,
gets second,
Israel,
is number one.
Germany, Israel, some other countries. Can't remember. I was just reading people's predictions. And it's like there's some Israeli team that's just a 6. It's apparently pretty good, and Germany should make it out. From memory, I was like, okay, that looks like what's going to happen on the other side.
We've got we're in Group C, the Aussies. We've got Sweden, Australia, Italy, Portugal. So how do you think the Aussies are going to go in that group, boys?
Probably gonna bomb out.
Bomb out. Why would we bomb out? What makes you
It's
think?
a safe prediction. It's a safe prediction.
The bomb out. So against which? Okay. Do you
Go
think Italy and Portugal would? How many people get out of their group? 1 or 2?
It's two.
2. Do you
Two go
think?
around 16.
So do you think Australia wouldn't beat Italy and Portugal?
I think we would struggle. They've got some pretty good players, and they'll be close to sending like full teams that are established teams, both of those regions.
Who do you think will be on the Aussie team?
4 legs without Wivo.
So
No, blank will be on.
do you reckon is it the entire blank squad?
I know the committee is doing scrims against top Australian teams to see how blank is still faring at the moment, just to check if they're still doing okay.
Yeah.
But I would suspect that the full blank squad. It'd be stupid. Like, I think it would almost be up to blank if it was up to them if they want to, like, it's a good opportunity. Maybe it's an opportunity for them to trial like 1 or 2 players.
Can they all go? Might have heard this wrong, but aren't a couple of their players not ranked high enough to be able to go?
I don't think rank has anything to do with the selection process. But you would
I'd
know
heard that
better than me.
Have you read
It's
the
under the
handbook,
impression-
CantuS?
I have not gotten a handbook. Just the committee people have it.
Yeah.
I was under the impression you needed to be in the top 100 in your country, but that might be completely wrong.
I don't think that would matter if they're playing in the OPC. That's higher than a top 100.
Yeah, well, it should. They're good enough. It's obvious, but yes.
That'd be a pretty fucking retarded rule by a
Yeah.
person if that's the case. Like, you can't go. Even though you play in the OPC, you can't play.
Because they'd bring up all sorts of like technical things, like say like Rogue, someone on the committee said they're sending Rogue. What happens if Rogue, one of their members, doesn't play on their main, and or it's decayed, so he's not a top 100 player in his country, surely they'd have to be able to send him. There'd be some sort of rule that allowed it.
Yeah, you think so.
Wouldn't that be that's the whole idea of having a committee? You don't have to worry about people's ranks. They can just pick out the 6.
Well, I
best.
think the committee is there, and just they have the list of 100, and that's like just for them to pick through, and then there's anything else if they want to.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Hoping.
So do you think blank wouldn't go well? Like, say it's just assume it's going to be blank as the Aussie team. They wouldn't be able to get out of groups.
No, I think they probably. It'd be tough. I think they can. It just depends on. It probably depends on the meta. Like if the meta stays the same, then maybe not, or maybe they have like drastically improved with the current meta.
Well, we can start talking about OPC and their performance because they've been copping some losses, which usually happens every time a meta has switched. They tend to struggle a little bit and get used to it, and once they've adapted to the meta, they usually start stringing together their big win streaks. So what do you guys think is going wrong with blank at the moment? Anyone?
I've talked a lot. I'm kind of waiting for someone else to say something. I don't want to cut anyone off.
I'll let CantuS go.
The games. The one big difference was, of course, Trill on the Diva and Kiki on the Winston. You can see why they did it. They want Trill to be able to switch between Genji and Diva at a moment's notice, not lose their ult charge, but the results aren't going their way. And they did switch back in one of their recent games to the old combination. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to know what they're thinking internally. Hope they can figure something out.
How would you predict the OPC? Like, what teams do you think will make the finals?
It's top 3, right?
It's top 4.
Top 4.
It's like a gauntlet. So
it's a gauntlet. So three plays 4. Winner of 3-4 plays 2. Winner of 2 versus 3-4 plays 1.
Okay. So do you reckon those guys will pretty much make the finals from where they're at? I mean,
with how dominant the league is, like they might already be secured, like because some of the teams have just barely won any games. So can actually, like, maybe they're like not that far off being mathematically already locked.
What
There's still 2 more rounds.
They're currently 3rd. I think they're like they've lost 4 games, or like let me bring it up.
Have they lost 4 in a row, or have they got a win back? Have they broke their loss streak? I didn't see much of the.
No, they did beat one of the Japanese teams recently.
They've only lost to Flash Wolves and HQ. Is that right?
Yeah, they've only lost to Flash Wolves and HQ, and they've lost. They're 1-2 against both of those, so they're 14-4 currently.
That's a good record, and hopefully they can flesh out their problems before the finals. How long till the finals? How many more weeks have we got?
Ends in like July.
Holy
something
shit.
ridiculous.
So
not sure.
long.
Not sure exactly.
Yeah, there's 28. There's 28 games to be played, and they've obviously played 18 so far. So it's a quadruple round robin. It's a bit excessive.
There's a lot
and
of
also,
games.
so many of the games are meaningless. Like you're going to get into the final bunch, and it's just going to be.
Yeah, like I would say that every game from now on for Sun Sister and Detonator Gold is completely meaningless.
Yeah,
right.
They're already eliminated. Yep.
Man.
Must feel bad for those teams that like they're just sitting in the gaming house in Taiwan.
Yeah. They get a good payout for last place, isn't it? 17,000.
That's true.
That's money. It's more than our first place in our.
Losing sucks though.
Yeah, no one likes to lose. Unless you got some sort of fetish, I suppose.
You know a fair bit about the Japanese scene, right, Face? You guys scrim them. Are there better Japanese teams than Sun Sister and Detonator?
Yeah.
Did they just pick the wrong teams for OPC, or is Japan just a weak region?
I wouldn't say they're a weak region. Well, they're not a strong region either. But there's like USG Supreme, who are clearly the #1 team in Japan. From what I understand. And then like second is a bit like up and down. But I think from what I understand that USG Supreme would at every stage better than both those teams.
So are those guys in contention to be number 2? Those two?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
From what I understood at the time, no. But
Right. So they just picked the wrong teams. So that's
yeah.
sounds a bit
Even Fireball, they weren't the number 1 Southeast Asian team either.
That's the one with the
Like-
Pooh,
So they didn't bring in anyone from Singapore or Vietnam or anything like that. So like,
Yeah, like the Vietnam team is really good, like really, really good. And yeah, there's like other really good Thai teams, and there was just like right before the OPC, there was a Southeast Asian Invitational or something. Not an invitation. It was like but Fireball came like 4th or something. So yeah, it's an interesting way how they selected teams
Well, so
outside of the Taiwan scene.
Do you think it was based on like how much money the teams had backing them, like they could afford to have a gaming house and all that sort of stuff?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was all like predetermined with the orgs, and the orgs picked the teams. Like Fireball's owned by HK Esports, so it's a Taiwan org,
Okay.
and they just I'm not really sure how that came about, but yeah.
Well, let's start talking about our scene. We've got Over.gg have picked up the power rankings. We briefly talked about it last week, but we've all put our rankings in. We've got 3 panel members here, so it's going to be up tomorrow, I believe. So, how did that all come about, Face? Do you want to talk about Over.gg and the future of the power rankings?
I don't really know how much about it came about. This Mert did all the thing.
It was graphics that set up. It's right there.
He's the guy who hit me up as well.
Yeah. Yeah, Mert, he's like pretty much like the Australian article writer for our region. And he wanted to create more content for our region. So he's gone out of his way to create power rankings. Seems like really, really cool thing to happen, especially on the OverGG platform. It's like a lot more publicity for our scene.
Yeah, but they're going to start absorbing our scene, I suppose. So if you guys haven't got signed up for their website yet, just go to over.gg and you can sign up, and then some of us talk on the forums there as well. And hopefully we get this podcast up there too, since I've joined up with the over.gg crew. But we'll see what happens. And also, I've started, before we jump back into more Overwatch things, I've recently signed on with the AG TV crew. So I'm not just going to be doing Overwatch anymore. I'm going to start doing CSGO, Rocket League, and whatever the fuck else I decide to eventually do. So I think some of the other boys might be coming along with me too. So they're going to start helping promote the Overwatch scene as well. So getting a lot more people on board. And speaking of the Overwatch scene, let's talk about improvements for the next season. So what can ESL improve on, because they come to a close this weekend, and then we've only got 1 round left of CG before the finals, which ends on June 11th, I believe, in Adelaide at the CG studio. And you can get your tickets as well. I'll put a link somewhere down below or whatever. I don't think the promo code works anymore, but you can still get that promo code 20% off during the streams, which is the last ones on Monday and Tuesday. So if you want to get 20% off your tickets, watch the stream and type !tickets into Twitch chat and use the code CGOW20. And all right, let's talk about improving. We'll kick it off with you, Switch. What do you think needs to be improved and built onto this scene for next season?
Marketing.
Marketing?
That's it. More exposure for the events. People need to know when they're happening, like what days. It needs to be front and center, very clear. Like, you can put a countdown timer on your website. Like, this stuff is not hard, but it needs to be simple and easy to sign up, because players are lazy and dumb. Like,
Jesus.
no, we are. Like, real talk. Like, you know, you're in a team that's supposed to be like a top team in the scene or a sponsored team or whatever, right? And it's like, yeah, that tournament's happening. Does anyone know what day it is? And it's like, no, I haven't really looked. Like, oh, we should probably check that out. It might be soon. It's like, oh shit, it's 2 days away. Like that is a conversation I've had before. Like obviously not dumb, but like lazy at least, and disorganized. Like marketing needs to be improved front and center. People need to know when it's happening. Like they need to know how it works. Explain it simply, front and center in your marketing. Prize split, it'd be nice to be able to see so people would know what they're like signing up for and what the motivation is. Whether there's going to be a stream, just people need to up their marketing game. Full Circle was great. Like that scene exploded. We had like 24 teams, like 25 teams during that period. Like, and they had a long marketing lead up, like multiple months. They marketed it on all the big Discords. They marketed it on even the Facebook groups, I believe. Did they? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think they did. And they marketed it every way they possibly could. And they gave a long enough period of time that people were excited about it. They knew it was coming. They knew it was big. They knew when it was happening, although they changed that. And anyway, like it didn't go super smoothly, but like people knew it was happening, and they knew how to sign up. They had a website dedicated to it with a big sign-up link, and they sent you an email. So that's what we need. Like that's all the tournament organizers need to change. They need ESL did a decent job with their monthly series. They had a website set up, like a dedicated web page, which was good. The sign-up process was a bit arcane. Like they needed a direct link to it. They needed to people needed to know how to make the teams and not screw them up. People like didn't have ESL accounts or whatever, and it's actually quite a lengthy process. Like you'd be surprised how hopelessly organized like 6 gamers can be. You just need to remove the barrier to entry and make it really, really easy, and people will come. Give them enough time. Make sure they know about it. Make sure they know it'll be fun and worthwhile, and they'll come. That's the only thing that's holding it back.
Yeah. So I don't know when we'll do another season with CyberGamer, which we will do. Like I'm gonna make sure of that. That's why I want all the feedback now. So when I go over to Adelaide, because I'll be with Cyanide for a couple of days, and we could start planning the next season and start talking about that. So what do you guys suggest for about the lower divisions, not just the top division?
There has to be one, and it has to be like a low barrier of entry to enter, like not paid for one.
Yeah.
And the paid probably isn't the biggest issue, but there was probably just like a lot of teams, like Watchpoint teams, that just didn't know that there was an open league that they can enter, or thinks that it's too high of a level. And then we didn't really encourage like lower teams to enter like a league for themselves, and they might not have a chance of winning it, but like create ambitions for them. Like maybe they want to, end in the top half, or win. Like there'll be rivalry. Like what usually happens in like the open leagues is that there ends up being like rivalries. Like one team will their sole goal is just to be above like another team that started around the same time. Like what was one of their like early scrim partners. Yeah. Because at the moment, like all the competitions are based for like the top 4 only, and like it gets to the point where like even the like the 4 to 8 teams, like at the end of the season they've got like no interest. There's like nothing for them to play for.
Yep.
So like and there's like as soon as that happens, as soon as there's like nothing for them to play off, like you lose. Like there's no roster stability. There's like less teams to scrim, and it just whittles away the scene, and it's just like a really huge impact. And so there's more competition from like the ground up, like from the real low teams that just want to play, and just give them somewhere to play that's fun, and give them something to play for, even if it's not like top like 1 or 2 in their division. Just like give them ideas that you can end like top 8 in this division, and it'd be really good. And next season you can get like into the next division if you just work hard.
So one thing about the ESL Cups, it wasn't a massive thing, but the seeding, random seeding, is not the best.
Well, CG. Really can I talk about CG qualifiers? I've got.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
sorry.
I don't really have anything to say, but it's like single
No, no.
elims a joke.
No,
Single
yeah.
elims are just a trash qualification method and shouldn't exist in any format.
And we
anyone-
screwed you. Like you. That was really like, and the seeding was done like so poorly because like basically what happened was like we threw like a roster together like last minute, but we got like someone who's like a very very good player who's completely unable
Oh, it
to
was you
play.
guys. That's right.
Yeah, and we're just like, hey, Sick AM, like you can come in and play for our like little 6-stack thing, and like we knocked 4 legs out of like qualifying for CG, like and Sick AM went off, like actually just bodied like
It was
Nectar
also
had a,
Nectar had
Nec-
like 160 ping.
Yeah.
And the fact that like we played like the qualifiers like a week earlier and qualified and they get replayed. It really bit hard for a second, but whatever. It's
There's
just
a
like
small
the
enough
form-
amount of teams in it so that any like type of seeding would be better than random seeding. Doesn't need
And
to be.
I don't think
super
it's
well
so much the seeding. It's like single elim. Like if there's single elim, if that exists, like it's easier to upset a team that like it'll happen. I think no matter what in single elim, like there'll be one upset and one team will get through.
Yeah.
If there's, but like you need like the double elim to like to sort like give teams another chance, like sort the rankings, because seeding will never be perfect in this scene.
Yeah. Well, I know for First Division next season, I'm pretty sure at least half the teams get re-invited back anyway, so they don't have to worry about requalifying. So there'd only be a couple of spots that'll be open for qualifications, which is, I think that's the way it was going to work from like now on. They only did it for the first time around because they haven't had a league yet. So I'd imagine 5 to 6 of the teams would get re-invited. And there's no point for like those fucking 6 teams to try and like qualify. They're just going to qualify anyway. So just have a couple of spots open. And I think that might encourage newer teams as well if they know like these big teams aren't playing. So that might help, I guess. I don't know, we'll see. And because what the original plan was, whoever came first in the second division would automatically get invited to the first division. That was going to be the case. Because we wanted to start filtering teams. That's how you qualify to get in the first division, is playing through into the second. Like they do with their Counter-Strike leagues.
That's an interesting choice because like there are plenty of good teams that formed after CG started that wouldn't have been able to be in second division, who would be better than any team that could have been in second division and would then qualify. So please don't go with that format because you're forcing stability onto a team that's just not going to be stable. And like Pandai could never qualify for your tournament then, and that team is like probably better than some of the bottom teams in the first div right now. My High are also very good, and should probably be in there over some of the teams that are into the bottom right now. Like, and they wouldn't have been in second division, so
we can't do it anyway. I suppose there's no second division, so
but don't adopt that format. Like, or make the second division a lot shorter, not as long.
Okay. Or just say, let's say 5 teams from Div 1 get re-invited, and then whoever comes first from Division 2 gets automatically invited. That's 6, and then you can have 2 spots that people can qualify for, or maybe 4 people get invited from Div 1 and have 3 open spots.
Yeah, I'm shooting myself in the foot here, but I think 4 is a good number to keep from Div 1. That's a very dumb
also
thing
be
to
like
say.
Teams will die like in the top 4, like, and so we'll just
gives you something to play for in the regular season.
Yeah.
So you don't give up once you can't.
Hello, we've got an extra guest here today on the podcast. What's his name? You need to give him a gamer tag if he hasn't got one. Let's give him a tag while Switch can't hear us.
Papa Switch.
He's back. So what's Papa Switch's gamer tag?
I don't know. I think he uses some silly online name. He goes like Dragon 52 or something. I don't know.
Dragon 52. Look
the year
out.
of his birth, and yeah.
Look out,
I don't
look
know,
out, Crusher 99, Dragon 52
Yeah,
is
yeah.
coming for you.
I think it was like the year of the dragon or something, like the Chinese year. Yeah.
Oh,
Getting
so-
informed I've got dinner.
Okay, well, we'll start.
I-
What, is there anything else we need to talk about? I forget. Wait, I'm going to look through what I originally wrote down. No, I think we actually went through everything. Except like the anniversary, but we don't really need to talk about the... It's,
There's some cool skins, man.
Cyborg, oh, what? Tracer skin. Yay. Other skins. A.
you know what they need to do is introduce loot box gifting. That's what they need. Because I'd give them away all the time on the fucking streams then. Just give away loot boxes. Especially during events.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, streamers would abuse that shit.
Be like cool. Like if you're watching you guys play on the CyberGamer stream, people can bet on what team's going to win and prizes can... I am encouraging gambling for the young kids, by the way. I don't give a fuck. You could get prizes. You don't need to throw up any money, but it's like, okay, I bet whoever have to do predictions for the whole week, say you get all 4 right, everyone who's got them all right goes in and goes in the running to win a whole bunch of loot boxes or some shit. Because that'd be pretty fun to do.
Oh yeah.
Rather than just giving away premium for CG, you're just giving away loot boxes. Alright, anything you guys want to say before we wrap this shit up? Anything? Does Dragon 52 want to say anything? You might want to call out.
I'm gonna kill him.
Maybe he can let us... What's for dinner?
No idea. I didn't even know I was making it. I was gonna order something in.
Did he breathe fire on it? And is that how he
Oh
cooks?
my
It's like
God,
it's charred
Bobby.
grill. All right. I'm gonna give a shout out to him. Does he have a Twitter? At Dragon52 on Twitter.
No, definitely not.
All right. Let's do shout outs and thank yous and all that sort of shit. I'll start with you, Face. I'll go across from my right hand side on Skype. Oh, I guess everyone can't see Skype. They can just see it on the screen. Anyway, I'm starting with you, Face. Say you do your shout outs and goodbyes.
Shout outs to my team and Boss and Flake for Boss for filling in whenever Quartz has his bedtime, and Flake for coaching us.
And then of course you Switch.
Shout out to you guys for coming on the podcast. Like, fun of being with you all. Shout out to Scylla, Marcus, Expired, Kasubi, great org, great owners. Shout out to our sponsor, HyperX. You can hit us up at hyperx.gg/Scylla. Get yourself a headset or a mouse, or the new mouse, or even a keyboard, mouse pads, all sorts of stuff. Good quality products.
Last but not least is CantuS.
Shout out to my team, a bunch of guys, and shout out to Smeeves, who is the actual carrier of Masterminds. Knows absolutely everything about the game. It's a guy.
And Face is disconnected, but we don't really need him at this point in time on the podcast, so it kind of works out pretty well. So thank you very much, Face, and you can get my goodbye here from when you rewatch the podcast. And thanks, Switch and CantuS, for jumping on, and you also being good sport, CantuS, and talking about the matchmaking and everything. And we can also check out Watchpoint Oceania's 1-year anniversary. They've got an event on this Saturday, I believe. Is that correct? Is it this Saturday, Switch?
Yep, I believe so.
So sign up there. You can go to, if you're not on the Discord, which you probably are if you're watching this, just go to the description down below. I've got the links to their Discord, and you can check out the anniversary and sign up for the event there. And make sure you tune into CG this Monday. It's from 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and then ESL this Saturday and Sunday. Check that shit out and get your tickets for the CyberGamer finals as well. And until I won't be seeing you guys this Monday and Tuesday. I won't be casting because I'm moving house, so I won't be back until the next podcast. So I'll be watching the streams from my phone or some shit. So thanks you guys for coming on, and thanks everyone for watching. I will see you in Adelaide. Peace.